to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Ugh, seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com and call today to get started.
Can an energy provider make you feel carefree? We think so, because who doesn't like to be surrounded by good energy? Great rates always. Gimmicks never. Perks that reward your loyalty and energy experts who know what's what. Carefree just feels good. Encore by Epcor, your carefree electricity and natural gas provider.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll free.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudley. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, the Gales of November arrived Saturday for the Edmonton Oilers. Tonight is as must-win as you'll ever see in November of a regular season. Plus, CFL playoffs are fire, baseball's cheaters, and another NFL coach gets fired. The Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family-owned and community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. As you know, we're live on YouTube and Sports 1440. We're also online at iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, Radio Player Canada. After the show, Apple and Spotify podcast, and we tweeted out on X. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, at JFenwick04, and at SamW1440. You can text or call anytime at 833-401-1440. That's 833-401-1440. Busy day. We have Rachel Krychak coming up from Betalytics at 12:40 today. Joe Noga from Cleveland.com will join us at 12:20, and Jason Greger at 1:20. We'll have rumors at 1 o'clock. Before I do the intros, I just want to say that moments ago, Lowetide rushed into the room and spilled about 4 tons of coffee that had been made, liquid coffee, on everything, and everybody came to my rescue. Brandon, Connor, Declan, Josh, Sam. So on top of their intros, I just want to thank them for saving me. And let's not tell the engineering department, and everything will be fine. All right, here comes the introductions. He's young, has lots of hair, and lights fires in his backyard less than 10 feet from the house. Oh, yeah. He's going to be on the 6 o'clock news soon. It's Sam Wilness, everyone. Sam Wilness.
Hello. How are we doing today?
Good. Did you do any barbecuing in the backyard?
No. I decided to go with a little bit more of a less destructive method. I threw the pork chops on the George Foreman this time
Okay,
around.
the Foreman grill is a good grill. Get an air fryer. It'll change your life.
I have an air fryer, but I'm not going to air fry pork chops.
I do.
I've tried it with like steak before, and it's not that good.
It's simple to do with. We'll go over what you're doing wrong. All right. Something is going on with his hair today. He looks like Brad Pitt in Johnny Suede. It's Josh Fenwick, everyone. Josh Fenwick. What's with the high hair?
Oh, when I took my hat off was like the high punched up.
Yeah.
I was wearing a hat all day yesterday, post shower, and so it just stuck in my hat like this, and I don't wake up early enough in the morning to have a shower.
I don't ordinarily do this because I'm not your parents or anything. But did you get home at a reasonable time Saturday night?
No, I got home at 3 a.m.
Right, so
3:30.
You do know nothing ever good happens at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night.
Well, you want to know what happened at 2 a.m. to me, Al? I lost $250 at the casino.
Wow.
So that not ideal. Also, we're kind of a news place, right? We're journalists in a sense. I just have to. You spread a little bit of fake news here. I did not help you one bit with the spilled coffee. I was just back here saying, "Good job, guys." A little moral support while I got us all live.
You were saying this is like watching the Oilers game Saturday night all over again.
Yeah, it was very riveting for me. Both of those things, actually.
All right. He texted me on Saturday night. Never does that. It is a first. Did he need help? No. Money? No. Had he been arrested? No. Big personal news? Nada. The Rough Riders win a playoff game, and he's a texting fool. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger.
Wow. Grey Cup bound again. First time in 12 years, and a chance to win it on Winnipeg's home field.
And this time, if they take a dozen pill out to the field, they should have no problem with the field goal. No?
I like the
Too soon?
reference. No, listen. I do think it would be so funny if because this is a rematch, obviously, of that 09 Grey Cup.
Yeah.
To the 2010 one as well.
Both were great teams, but
Oh,
Saskatchewan,
my goodness.
they were the best team in the league. They won in 09, right?
They won in 07. They lost
right.
in 2009 and
Right.
2010 to Montreal.
Right, but they were the best team in the league. They just didn't win.
Well, listen, those Anthony Calvillo teams were amazing.
They were
in
good.
2010, I can tip my cap and say Montreal was the best team in the league that year. I think they went 15-3 that year. In 2009, I felt like the Riders were the better team, and it was not represented by who got the Grey Cup rings.
And that sucks because the way they lost it was so heartbreaking, and you can never get it back. And they did get back in 2013, which was that 101st Grey Cup?
2013 was, because 2012 when the Argos won, that was 100th. I will say this. I think that is the highlight I've seen the most in my sports life.
Right.
That field goal with the 13th man. I think that might be the one.
Yeah, the one I've seen is that damn Theo for Fleury overtime goal, which happened in Game 6. Game 7, Esa Tikkanen scored in overtime, and the Oilers won. You don't see that. You always see this because the Flames don't have that many highlights. That's why. All right. So there's so much to do here, guys. It's 12:06. We're going to go lickety-split through all of this, okay? Here's the thing, folks. Janmark is in. Lazar is in. Nuge is on IR. Kapanen on LTIR. And the Oilers played so badly Saturday night, they absolutely have to play well tonight, and I believe they will. November, it could be the Gales of November on this road trip if they don't turn it around, though. They're playing defense too much. Part of the problem is the outlet passes. They're poor. They're long stretch passes, and they're shooting the puck in. They don't have a Vander Kane chasing the puck this year. They need those. Florida stopped them from using the middle of the ice on their outlet passing during the Stanley Cup final, and they've never gone back to it. They have to get back. They have to grab the courage and use the skill on this ice to be able to use the middle of the ice for outlet passes. And the forwards damn it, they got to come back. Why are you down at the other end to tip the puck in and you never get the puck? It always turned over. Possession's the problem. Evan Bouchard is not a great defensively, and he's playing too much defense. That's your problem, and it goes across the roster. I'm gonna yield because I want to get a lot of stuff in. So what do we think, Declan?
Well, listen, embarrassing. You had 3 days off and you were playing a team like Colorado. The last couple of years, they faltered a little bit, but I think most people still view Colorado as one of the preeminent teams in the league and certainly in the Western Conference. And they are a team that you compare yourselves to as those big dogs in the Western Conference. Like, I think the big dogs in the Western Conference, Edmonton, Colorado, Dallas, maybe you can throw Winnipeg in there just because of how they've done in the regular season. And then I guess Vegas as well, if you want to add another, but it's a finite list. And this was was one of them. And here's the thing. I wouldn't be too upset because you know what? 9-1 losses, they're rare, but they do happen in hockey.
Sure.
But this was a 9-1 loss on your home ice on Hockey Night in Canada after 3 days off against a real upper echelon team. And
After blowing 2 games.
And you didn't look like you belonged in the arena with them. They looked better than you in every aspect. We talked about it out at the bar before the show. If their power play was firing on all cylinders, it could have been 14-1. The Oilers had nothing. I was watching the game with my friends, and I was thinking, like, has there been a number one problem? Because everything has been a problem.
You're right in that when you're playing defense that much, everything's wrong.
Yep.
They don't have any push, and people are like, here's the reasons I've been given. Connor McDavid is very thin and frail and doesn't look himself, and he's being overplayed, and he's not going to make it to Christmas. Leon Draisaitl is just slightly ahead of that. Those are 2 reasons. There's also the goaltending. There's the defensive coverage. There's the indifference of Evan Bouchard. This Darnell Nurse doesn't recognize how to play hockey. That's 6 of them, and I have probably 60 more. People have a lot of excuses, but they're playing too much defense. That's the bottom line. The goaltending isn't great, but when you play this much defense, it's really shoddy. Same with the defense.
Listen, go ahead.
You know what the problem with the 6 things you just mentioned is? 5 of the things are the 5 most expensive parts of that team.
Yes.
Outside of goaltending, you name their top 5 players.
Well, here's the problem. You can't change it now. And you're not going to fire the coach because he's been to 2 finals. They're in a spot of bother. I wrote today, The Athletic. I recommend you read it.
All right.
Now,
it is the what would a shake-up trade look like for the Edmonton Oilers? I can tell you who, but I do make a couple of suggestions in there.
This was Chris Knobloch's post-game availability. This was the first time to me he had really, at this point in the season, throughout his tenure here with the club, where he had really seemed nervous and he had seemed like things weren't okay. And Speck asked him about Stuart Skinner, like, has this team lost faith in the goaltending? And he took a very long pause.
It was a serious
I heard it. I think it was like maybe 2 seconds.
And he didn't go on to say no, where he said, I don't believe so. Like, nothing about how he reacted in that post-game press conference, nothing about his demeanor, nothing about his body language, nothing about his answers, nothing gives me confidence that he believes this is he was referenced in one of the questions by Daniel. Daniel asked him, like, this was a litmus test game. Colorado's one of the upper echelon teams. How far away do you feel? And he said, oh my God, we're not even close. Are you kidding me? And that, I think, perfectly encapsulates what that game against the Avalanche was.
And so here's the thing. The quickest way to fix it, honestly, guys, is to trade for a goalie. And the reason is all the mistakes can still be there, and you can get a goalie who's on fire or catches fire, and he can win you a lot of games. The primary problem, as I see it, is that they are a skill team. Somebody said today, when I was on with Carius and Steele, they said, what is the personality of this team? What's this team know for? I said skill, but they don't. A skill team needs to have the puck, and this skill team gives it away like motel matches. And that's the problem the Edmonton Oilers have, is the thing they need to do in order to play their game, they can't do because their outlet passes are 75 feet and a tip in, and then you chase after the puck. It's not efficient. They need to use the neutral zone, either to pass, carry, or make some kind, even a back pass. Right now, they are not over the Florida Panthers forecheck in the final. They're treating everybody like they're the Florida Panthers. Stop it. Use your skill. Use what you have. And that's why I think getting rid of Paul Coffey might have been a mistake. Not because Paul Coffey is some kind of brilliant tactician. He's not. But those defensemen played with a hell of a lot more confidence, and the way they set it up a year ago, there was at least one forward offering a welcoming passing lane when they were heading out. That's gone. Everybody's jailbreak to the blue line. You've got the forwards at the opposition blue line and the defensemen trying not to ice it or turn it over in their own zone, and you're expecting that to work. It's garbage. And everybody reads it. Did you see how many times they turned over the puck in the third period? Colorado knew where they were going before they did. This is absolutely a massacre is what we saw. And I know they're going to play better tonight, but this road trip could be an absolute hammer to this team because they're not playing well.
I saw your blog post. It's expected they'll get 15 points out of this road trip. That can't be right? I must have.
No, I do
11.
No, let me count it while we're on the air. I have them playing. How many road games
They have
are
7
there?
games.
7 games.
Seven
on the
games
road.
on the road.
I apologize. Maybe I mixed it up.
okay.
I thought I saw something
On the
wrong.
road, I've got them going 1-2-0 against the Flyers, Blue Jackets, and Hurricanes, and 1-2-1 against the Sabres, Capitals, Lightning, and Panthers. So I think I'm 2-4. I've been getting 5 points out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games.
Yeah, not good enough. Listen,
No.
this is
and
a
they
team,
could get worse than that.
This is I thought this was really interesting because at the end of the day, this is a 6-10 team. I know we have the OT losses in there, and we know I know there's the overtime points. But this is a 6-10 team. So I got curious and I went and I calculated all the teams with 16 points or less in the NHL. And of those teams, Edmonton actually has the second highest average in terms of team beaten point total. So that suggests and Montreal raises that, but it suggests that they actually do get up for the teams they need to.
Which
and that
the eye
Colorado,
test confirms.
and that Colorado game may be the anomaly. So if you're looking for something to point to and say, we want some positivity out of this, that could be it.
I think that and we've blown through what I wanted to talk about the firing of the Giants coach and others, but we'll do that as the day goes along. But the thing that I can't understand is this is a team with skill. And Saturday morning, they say, okay, we're going to play Draisaitl and McDavid together. And I know why, because of the McKinnon line. McKinnon line ragdolled them. And so what's wrong? Because they're playing defense too much. So how do you get away from that? You possess the puck. How do you possess the puck? You pass it tape to tape. And if they're overloading Connor McDavid, take advantage of that. If a team is double teaming you, then somebody's open. And the Oilers have got to figure that out. That is a coaching strategy thing. And I think the biggest fail on the weekend, the goaltending was not great. I will absolutely admit that. But for me, the greatest mistake was the Edmonton Oilers kept trying to do the same thing over and over again. And it doesn't play to their strengths. Evander Kane's gone. Corey Perry's gone. They're not going to be able to do that unless Podkolzin and Draisaitl do. But McDavid, Draisaitl, that line, they should have possession of the puck. If they don't, McKinnon's going to go down the ice and score. My God, can he shoot the puck?
He's so good. He picked up.
Doctor.
He had 9 points in 2 days, and it was a back-to-back, and he put 5 points.
Listen, that's the best player in the world.
Right now, you can't argue. All right, we have coming up, we've got Joe Noga. Say it ain't so, Joe, from Cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. Going to talk about the Guardians pitchers. 2 of them have been charged, and their careers are, I think I can say basically over in Major League Baseball. Rachel Krychak will join us from Metalytics at 12:40. We'll have Jason Krueger at 1:20 and Declinations at 1:40. We're going to move rumors. We're going to talk about the Giants coaching situation and more. That will come up at 1 o'clock today. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Mr. Rooter watches the big game. Go deep! What you watching, Mr. Rooter? The Plumbing Olympics. Frankie Drain Dragon Sanchez is attempting to break the world record in the 100-meter snake. Watch! Wow! Did you see that? He snaked out a 50-pound clog. And in the middle of that wad, a gold medal. What theater?
Yeah, that's very cool, Mr. Rooter.
For a plumber who's good as gold, call Mr. Rooter.
When you visit a Booster Juice location on November 13th and purchase any regular size smoothie, you get another one free.
No way.
Yes way. We celebrate our birthday every year with a special buy one, get one smoothie offer to show our appreciation for our amazing customers from coast to coast.
I'm ready to celebrate.
Thank you, Canada, for 26 wonderful years. We look forward to serving you not one, but 2 delicious smoothies on November 13th. Conditions apply. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off genuine leather and reclining sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off, and with every mattress purchase, you're entered for a chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado,
There's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly, some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Don't look now, but I think we're being followed.
Oh, that's just my Fountain Tire sidecar.
Well, they're driving pretty close.
Because they're attached.
Save up to 15% on select tires until December 13th.
Cool.
Plus, get up to $125 off a set of 4 Goodyear tires.
Anything else?
Get $50 off a $150 service when you buy those tires.
Well, that's handy.
Yep.
And weird.
Well, I love my Fountain Tire sidecar.
Book your appointment online today. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick, family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. We're about to talk to Joe Noga, sports reporter for the Cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. And we don't have him yet. And when that happens, when we don't have a guest, it's funny because Sam is waving his hands in the air, but he's not tall enough for me to see. So then it's Josh's job to stand up and wave his hands in the air. You know, because the old man doesn't pay attention at all. He just goes, right? And that does become a problem. So we're just ahead of Joe Noga. Looking forward to it. LT, I recently read that St. Louis general manager is not liking the directions the Blues are heading and open to making some changes. Is trading for goalie Binnington possible for the Oilers? Spinner North Edmonton. It is, but it's like they're all kind of choices you could make, not choices you maybe want to make, and the price tag's going to be a lot, and the cap's going to be a lot. In a lot of cases, today I wrote about Saros, Nashville. A lot of cases, those contracts are for a lot and for a long time. Do you want to do that? I think that you know, Declan mentioned it in the previous segment where if Chris Knobloch is not pleased with the goaltending, and if he's, you know, talking openly about it, the frustration at media avails, and you can read into that how you want to read into it, then I think Stuart Skinner's time in the city is probably over, but we'll have to wait and see. And that is not available to us right now. Okay. As promised, we're delighted to be joined by Joe Noga, sports reporter for the Plain Dealer and Cleveland.com, talking about two pitchers, the Cleveland Guardians, who have been suspended last year and now charged for fraud and various other things. And I want to say it ain't so, Joe, but I know that it is. This is a tough one for all baseball fans.
Yeah, this is shocking, and the depth and the lengths that this investigation uncovered in terms of what Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz allegedly, did. It's disturbing that they would put their teammates in harm's way in certain places and jeopardize their careers and really their freedom now as both face up to 65 years in prison.
And I know the initial reaction was like they're doing this for 5,000, but it sounds like Class A at least had been going back at least a year or maybe longer. Not exactly sure. I think it was 2023. The report had it, and there usually is in these situations as time goes on stories about what kind of pressures were brought to bear aside from the offer of money. But it's really ugly. And baseball is one of the vulnerable sports, but there are others. Football, certainly, basketball, hockey, and I get the feeling that we're at the tip of the iceberg. But baseball has experience with this, and they have hard and fast rules for it. And I guess I naively thought that we wouldn't get anything like this again, but we're here.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my colleague Paul Hoynes, who's been on the beat in Cleveland for nearly 45 years, and he described it. He called it the most shocking, the biggest gambling scandal in baseball since Pete Rose.
Yeah,
you go all the way back to that, and the shockwaves that sent through all of baseball at the time. And really, when you're talking about fixing, prop bets and manipulating pitches on the field, we haven't seen on-field activity like that since you go as far back as the Black Sox. So yeah, it shakes baseball to its core, and something that needs to be addressed from the top down. I know Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has proposed, eliminating prop bets and working at it that way. I know Major League Baseball works closely with gambling monitoring systems and the sports books that take the bets to make sure that this activity is monitored as closely as it can be. But if these two guys were able to pull it off to this degree, I'm sure that somebody more sophisticated somewhere along the line or down the line might be able to do even more damage to the integrity of the sport.
And it's really, like from what we can tell, I agree with you. You said it earlier, like it's thorough. They've got phone calls, they've got recorded conversations. There was one ball that was thrown and it was swung at, and so there was even conversation about that. Like about the fact that the bettor lost the bet because the ball was thrown and it wasn't a strike, but the hitter actually swung the bat at it, and it feels to me like Class A's maybe, I don't know, is it more guilty than Ortiz, or I guess there's more evidence I've seen than Ortiz, but it would be hard to characterize this as a solo thing. It appears as though both have really compromised the sport. And I wonder how deep this goes. And I wonder, I'm not suggesting they're going to have to go out and find a new commissioner who's named after a mountain and a battle. But I think, this does maybe invite some long and sober thought about gambling sites that are sponsors and that sort of thing.
Well, and yeah, all the major professional sports are in bed now with the gambling sites and, your FanDuels and your DraftKings and all that. So I don't know how much culpability the commissioner has in that, but certainly in the oversight of his own sport, I would think that this is a big wake up, a big red flag that needs to be addressed, and that's certainly going to be reflected in the punishment meted out to Ortiz and Class A. At least that's what's expected and what's been expected. I think Major League Baseball did the right thing once they were alerted to this, which was, suspend both players and then let the Eastern District of New York, which has far more investigative resources than Major League Baseball's, quite ample investigative resources that the league has, but that's trumped tremendously by the Eastern District, and that's how you get into all of the phone records and the surveillance videos and all that were part of this 23-page report. I guess just looking at the situation, the team has sort of sat back and said, we're cooperating fully with the investigation and everything's going on, and they're waiting patiently. But at some point, you've got to do right by the Guardians here and let them know whether or not they've got to pay Emmanuel Clase the remainder of his contract, or what's going to happen with the roster spots for these guys. The team sort of the Guardians themselves are sort of being hung out to dry and left in limbo here.
For sure. And it cost them last year. I know that it isn't like the primary point here, but Class A is a hell of a closer. You could argue his best closer in baseball during the period he was doing this.
Yeah, he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory, and no doubt. He had been, 44 plus saves a year for a 3-year stretch, a 3-time All-Star, 70 appearances plus. But really, what cost the Guardians was they were on the verge of being ready to trade him at the trade deadline. If you remember what a premier closer was going for, the going rate at the trade deadline for guys like Johan Duran and Mason Miller and those guys, they were getting like multiple top 100 prospects in return for a guy like in Class A's position. And Cleveland knew they had Cade Smith ready to go. And eventually, Stephen Vogt says the run that Cleveland went on in September, they knew that the back end of the bullpen was taken care of. It was the starters stepping up and covering the 6th inning earlier in the game that sort of sparked Cleveland's run. But what the prospect capital that they could have gotten back in a trade for Emmanuel Clase that they were denied basically by this investigation. And now you're left holding the bag as you're not going to get anything in return for Clase or Ortiz for that matter.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, Miller got one of the top prospects in baseball, maybe a little ways away, but that you're right. That is, an exceptional loss of opportunity. And now trade assets as well for the Cleveland Guardians, who are an easy team to cheer for. I mean, I always feel like they're a little bit the underdog, and they constantly renew somehow and find enough pitchers. And Ramirez is just a freak. I just love watching that guy play. And I guess it does. At this point in time, they absolutely have to plan on life without both players, right? Clase and Ortiz. The odds of those guys ever stepping on a major league field again is very low.
Right, and not just them stepping back into the majors, but if you were a member of that clubhouse and the Guardians, you're talking about catchers who were putting their bodies at risk in front of 100-mile-an-hour cutters that were being spiked into the ground. And how do you ever look those teammates in the eyes again? There's zero chance that either of them pitch for Cleveland, regardless of what their major league status is. And we've talked to Chris Antonetti. We've said he can't say much. He can't say much at all at this point until the investigation is complete. But what he did say what he did share with us was, we have to operate moving forward like we're going on without them, that they won't be part of, what we're doing in the future. So I think those plans are already in place. It's just sad and shocking. Again, I go back to that, just how deep and how far-reaching this investigation went.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Two questions to end this. Number one, is Chase DeLauder going to be as good as he looks when he's healthy?
Well, he was healthy there for a couple of games at the end of the season. At the very end, he made his major league debut in the playoffs and got a hit and made a couple of nice plays. I think when healthy, this is a guy that they have a lot of faith in and a lot of belief that he can get out there and get it done. I think he might be your opening day center fielder in Cleveland if everything goes well. What I can't wait for is a Friday night in June with Progressive Field packed with 35,000 fans, and Chase DeLauder steps to the plate in a big moment, and Country Roads by John Denver is playing, and they know just when to cut it off, and so that the crowd keeps singing it. It happened like 2 or 3 times during the playoffs, the last 2 games of the wild card series, and you got goosebumps. It was just really nice. Can't wait to see Chase DeLauder and what he's able to provide for the Guardians this year.
Love it. And the final question is, I noticed that you have on your Twitter site, you and Adam catch across America, which is you want to catch the same ball at a point of interest in all 50 states. That's very cool. How many states so far have you caught a ball with Adam?
We are up to 36 states.
Wow.
We are going to add 2 more, Kentucky and Tennessee, over Thanksgiving break. And then we'll be pretty close. It's been a really fun. I've driven a lot of miles across the country on these trips, but hoping to get up to the Pacific Northwest at some point before he gets off to college. And it's just been a really fun adventure, and really great seeing some of the awesome places that there are in this country. We try to catch in front of significant play. I think the one that stands out in North Carolina, we played in front of the world's largest chest of drawers.
Nice,
because North Carolina is known for its furniture building. So it's fun stuff like that. But you got your Grand Canyons and you've got your archways in St. Louis and all that. It's been a lot of fun.
Beautiful, love it. Thanks so much for this, Joe. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
There you go. Joe Noga from the Cleveland Plain Dealer and Cleveland.com talking about a really sad story, a tragic story, really. I mean, baseball compromised and 2 careers done. And, I don't know how they avoid prison time. We'll have to wait and see as how this rolls out. All right. Our thanks to Joe Noga. It's 12:33. We're going to take a break. On the way, Rachel Krychak is going to join us. I'll get it. Give me time. 5 years. It'll come. It will. I promise. And we'll talk a little bit about the Edmonton Oilers. Got a few other things I want to ask her about as well across the National Hockey League. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I've got to get 2 cheeseburgers, medium fries, and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. Hey, maybe I'll eat 1 cheeseburger right away and save one for later. Maybe I'll stack them and eat them both at once. Options. Oh, delicious, delicious options.
So 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a 2 cheeseburger meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com and call today to get started.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Can an energy provider make you feel carefree? We think so, because who doesn't like to be surrounded by good energy? Great rates always. Gimmicks never. Perks that reward your loyalty and energy experts who know what's what. Carefree just feels good. Encore by Empor, your carefree electricity and natural gas provider.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll free.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick, family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Doing a little live radio here as we change headphones. Here's my advice to you. Can you turn it up? I can't hear anything in these headphones. My advice to you is don't pour water into the headphones before you go on the air. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out at wolfgmcbuick.com. Joined now by Rachel Krychak from Betalytics. How are you, Rachel?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good now that my headphones work. Okay. You are speaking to people in a city that are hella angry about the local team. They want to know why the Oilers are chasing outlet passes that are inefficient, those long stretch passes and tip-ins at the blue line instead of entering with possession through the neutral zone based on the talent is ridiculous. Why are they doing that?
Yeah, it feels like, I mean, whether I'm talking about the Oilers or I'm talking about the Leafs, everybody is angry. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, you know what? Rightfully so. Because, I mean, in the Oilers case, they're, like you said, they're playing a very frustrating brand of hockey right now. And I don't understand why. Because they absolutely have the talent to make those proper outlet passes where they can group and attack the line with speed, enter the zone with possession, generate chances off the rush. The moment that you have these outlet passes and tip-ins to the zone, you nullify your rush offense. And the Oilers have certainly the best rush offensive player in the National Hockey League. It's McDavid and McKinnon, and everyone else is a very distant third. But then you also have Leon Draisaitl, and he can create off the rush as well. So I look at this and I go that I can't figure out why they're not, as a team, committed to rush offense. Yes, they're not a particularly fast team when you get below McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent, Hopkins when healthy. But they still have enough guys that can play a rush style. Trent Frederick can succeed off the rush. The kids, Matthew Savoy and Ike Howard, can also succeed off the rush. So, I mean, it kind of feels like it's an overreaction to what doesn't or hasn't worked for them in the playoffs. But I'd also make the argument that it has worked for them in the playoffs because, yeah, it may not have worked against Florida, but it worked against everybody else they played. And Florida is a very specific circumstance in that, let's call a spade a spade. They get away with a lot more than other teams. So I don't think that I would be basing my entire system off of a series against the Florida Panthers.
See, I think that's exactly right. I think you've nailed it spot on. You're allowing short series to dictate the structure and the template and the mission statement for your team. And in doing so, I think you'll agree, you're not utilizing the pure talent that you have. You've got all this skill and you're trying to turn, these sports cars into dump trucks. And I feel like this is going to eventually cost Chris Knobloch his job, and I feel bad about it because he's clearly taken the team to 2 Stanley Cup finals. But this is the kind of decision that will, if they've got a hell of a road trip coming, Rachel, and if they do poorly in that, I'm not suggesting the coach is going to get fired, but we're going to see some changes.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I think Chris Knobloch is somebody who can adjust and can kind of make alterations to his system. I mean, that's exactly what he's done here, and they haven't been good. So, can we do a little rewind on that and just bring the old system back? It's still the same coach, so there's no reason that shouldn't be a possibility. The Oilers do have a very important stretch of games coming up. I think the Thanksgiving rule, the Thanksgiving playoff rule, does not necessarily apply to them because the Oilers, as we've seen, are capable of ripping off 12 and 13 games in a row at any given point. Although I will say, they're guaranteed that at least 2 of their best players are going to be at the Olympics. So we're talking about a very long season, a condensed schedule. You'd like to start piling up some wins here, and I think the road trip is going to be very important for that. From a change perspective, changing the coach is always easy compared to other things because it doesn't involve a trade or anything. But I wouldn't necessarily say that Knobloch's the guy that's got to take the fall here. The reality is you need a save. You need your penalty kill to be really good. And you need guys other than McDavid and Draisaitl to chip in offensively. You need to get healthy. And I can't even remember the last time I looked at the NHL points leaders and McDavid wasn't in the top 3. Draisaitl the same. So it's kind of one of those things where it's they're still really good, still the best players in the league, but we're fooling ourselves if any of us said, Connor Bedard and Macklin Celebrini are going to be outscoring Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Nobody had that on their bingo card. So I think it's kind of one of those things where everybody on the Oilers needs to up their performance level and to different levels. Obviously, the goaltending needs to improve the most.
Rachel Krychak joining us from Betalytics. So let's talk about goaltending. The save percentages for Stuart Skinner are falling, obviously, after the game, and Calvin Pickard is, I think, at 835. Is there a goalie out there? Could they cobble together a trade? It just seems really early to be able to do this.
Well, they have a goalie that they could use in Connor Ingram. I would probably start there. Just see what you have. The guy hasn't played in the NHL in a while, but when the last time he was in the NHL, he was very good. And so I would be curious to see what you have in him. Like you said, Calvin Pickard and to a degree Stuart Skinner are basically unplayable at this point. I personally would have picked up Nico Dawes when he was on waivers from the New Jersey Devils. I cannot for the life of me figure out why the Oilers did not do that. I don't think they're necessarily at risk of losing Calvin Pickard on waivers, and Nico Dawes has a better save percentage than both Pickard and Skinner. So I would probably look at an option like that. There's always goalies that are kind of going through waivers. The Leafs put Caden Primo on waivers. He got claimed by Carolina. I'm not suggesting that he'd be an upgrade by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that's probably what they're going to have to do. And like I said, a guy like Nico Dawes was on waivers. Is he going to be that expensive from New Jersey to acquire? Probably not. So I don't think you need to do anything crazy, but you need to do something because the status quo is not acceptable.
Do you think, because several teams are out there, I think you mentioned Toronto, several teams out there probably looking for something. Do you think we'll see some activity before Christmas? We always say there's going to be, and then there rarely is.
I think it really depends because it's an Olympic year, so things are a little bit different. I wonder if it really depends on the approach that teams take. If they feel under the gun, like they have to make a move sooner and they want to have a good run of hockey into the Olympics, then yes, I do think we'll see some kind of speeding up. But if teams don't feel that way, then you're in a situation where you might not see any activity till after the Olympics, or very close to. And so I mean, I am always of the mindset that I think it's better to get a player into your organization sooner and get them acclimated, because what you don't want is to acquire a guy on deadline day, takes them a week or two to learn the system, and then you're already getting into the playoffs at that point. So I would have to think that teams like Edmonton, Toronto, perhaps Florida, that have kind of struggled out of the gate, that have much higher expectations, will probably be looking to do something. But then you have the other side of it, which is where some teams are overperforming. The Chicagos, the Montreal, Anaheim, they're overperforming. And are they going to be reluctant to part ways with talent this early in the season? I mean, if I'm Chicago, I'm taking every advantage possible of the start that they've had and maybe selling on some guys who are performing really well. But other than that, I do think it really depends on a team-to-team basis. And obviously, with it being an Olympic year, everything's kind of up in the air.
Well, you mentioned all of the teams that I wanted to ask you about, because the top 5 teams in the NHL by points percentage are Colorado, Anaheim, Carolina, New Jersey, and Montreal. You also mentioned Chicago are having a great run here. Can the teams that are considered, should be considered outliers based on the past, Anaheim, Montreal, say Chicago, maybe include New Jersey if you like, are they going to be able to sustain this, or is there one that you like their chances more than others?
I think New Jersey's for real. I've seen them play a couple of times this season just because I live very close to where they play. And they're a very good team. They are well coached. They're getting good goaltending. Jacob Markstrom notwithstanding, but like generally speaking, they play well defensively. Jack Hughes looks good. Nico Hischier, for my money, should win the Selke this year. It's going to probably boil down to him or Anthony Cirelli in Tampa. I do think New Jersey's for real. I'm not sure how real they are in the playoffs, though, because when your number one center plays 55 to 60 games a year because he gets hurt, that's tough to bank on. Then we get to Anaheim, Utah, Chicago. We all know Chicago is not at this point in their rebuild yet. That it would be foolish to say anything else. I'm really intrigued by Anaheim. I don't think they're for real in the sense that they're going to be a cup contender, because they're not a house of cards built on Lucas Dostal, but they have the player that the Edmonton Oilers want, and that is Lucas Dostal. He is so good at covering up every mistake that they make. They're a young team. They've got young players that are being allowed to make mistakes and aren't just being benched or sent down. They're going right back out there. Beckett Seneca made a critical error and then was right back out on the power play and atoned for that. So I think when you have that, you have a really good foundation. I think Anaheim's going to be a problem in the Pacific for years to come, but I'm not quite sure that they're there yet. I would say they're probably a wild card team, and they're going to cause issues because they're young and they're fast and they're big. So that's going to be fun. And then Utah, I mean, my model over at Betalytics, we had Utah finishing 1 point back of third in the Central Division this year. And I think that's going to be about where they finish. Utah's a super fun case study, because if you look at the other really good teams in the Central, you've got the Jets, the Avs, and Dallas. And the one common denominator in all of them is they're big. And in Colorado and Dallas's case, they're also very fast. Utah, their top 6 is a lot smaller. Guys like Logan Cooley, Clayton Keller, Dylan Gunther. And it'll be interesting to see, should they match up in the playoffs, how that goes, because Utah plays a really fast, entertaining brand of hockey, very similar to Anaheim. And I mean, that's probably why those are my 2 favorite teams to watch right now. I do think Utah makes the playoffs. I think that they need to kind of go through some of the learning experiences associated with what Western Conference playoff hockey is all about. But they're going to get in, and they're going to be entertaining, and they're doing a really good job of bringing along the young kids that they drafted while the team was in Arizona, and now they have an owner that allows them to retain them. And so in both cases, I think that Anaheim and Utah are not quite ready yet to be contenders, but I think in a year or two, we're probably talking about teams who are finishing in the division part of the playoff format as opposed to the wild card.
They're so interesting and fun to watch. They really are. Final one. I saw you tweeting about this, so I wanted your opinion of the situation with the Cleveland Guardians with Clase and Ortiz. The money just doesn't seem to match what they risked and now are going to lose. It's a terrible story.
Yeah, there's no amount of money that you should be willing to put your freedom on, because now they're both facing decades in prison, which that is ridiculous to begin with, in the sense that they would put themselves in that position. But generally speaking, I think the misconception here is, because of sports gambling being legalized, this is happening. That's not what's happening. Because sports gambling is now legalized, there are regulatory bodies that oversee all of this, which makes it easier to catch people like these two who are allegedly doing this stuff. I can't for the life of me wrap my head around a scenario where you would throw $100 million, which is what Class A was going to make, away for the equivalent of a 10-year-old Honda Civic. I just cannot wrap my head around why anybody would do that. And the only reason I can think of is bad people and bad actors are going to be bad actors, and they're always going to want to try and game the system. And that's exactly what was going on here. They were trying to game the system, and obviously backfired famously, but kind of one of those things where it's like $100 million is $12,000. That really shouldn't be a second thought. But when you have somebody who, a crook is a crook is a crook, and they never change, which is why whenever somebody says, he used to be a crook, or that person used to be a crook, no, that behavior, you're no longer trusted. So I think we're kind of in a situation with these guys where if what they've done is proven in a court of law, they were just guys who were bad actors and they wanted to make more than they already were. And if that's the case, then they deserve exactly what's coming to them.
That's fair. Thank you for this, Rachel. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Rachel Krychak from Betalytics and contributor to ESPN. One of the bets that was paid off was apparently exactly the same amount of money than one of the bets that the Chicago White Sox, then Black Sox, received in 1919. So I guess bribes are not, inflationary. That's just a terrible story. It really is. Because, they're talking about games that occurred like in July and August, but once you have that out there and once it is established and the case looks good based on what we're seeing, then you have to question, did they do any of this like in postseason? Because Cleveland was in postseasons. And you could say, they would never do that. But, the die is cast. We already sort of know what they're capable of. So would you be shocked if it was a September game that also was included? And this is on the heels of the basketball thing, which is kind of not related to on court, but who knows again, are we going to be spending, will there be a, after this show, there's Gregor's show, right? But 5 years from now, is after Gregor's show going to be a 3-hour sports gambling in court show? Maybe Josh hosts that one. It feels like that's what we're looking at here. Every day we come in and there's one more story about this, and this one is just massive and impacts a game that I hold dear. So pretty close to home. Okay, on the way, we're going to do rumors. We're going to talk about changes with the New York Football Giants. We're going to talk about the Oilers lineup tonight. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on IR. What does that mean? What do the lines mean? Who's in, who's out? We'll talk about that and more. And at 1:20, it'll be Jason Gregor. 1:40 today, we'll be talking to Declan with Declinations, Mama MMA. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Time for an update with Sam.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors, Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom at 11577 149th Street and bring your next flooring project to life. That's Custom Floors, Inc. Oilers at home tonight as the Blue Jackets come to town. Puck drop at 6:30 with pregame coverage starting at 5:30. 3 other games in the NHL sees the Islanders taking on the Devils. Predators face off with the Rangers, and the Panthers go head-to-head with the Golden Knights. Week 10 in the NFL wrapping up tonight as the Packers host the Eagles. Kickoff at 6:15. And off the field, the New York Football Giants have fired head coach Brian Daboll. In the NBA, 9 games happening around the league, including the Trailblazers taking on the Magic. Lakers going head-to-head with LaMelo and the Hornets. The Cavs heading to Miami. Spurs square off with the Bulls, and the Bucks take the court against the Mavs. Coming up on the Lowdown with Lowetide, it'll be our rumors segment and Jason Gregor from the Jason Gregor Show. And this has been your Sports 1440 update with Sam Wilness.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudley. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. Adopt a local family and see the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
3 locations, endless sports action. Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge. Sully's is the place to catch every game this fall. With tons of TVs, there's never a bad seat in the house. Check out the game night food and drink features and bring your friends for all the fun with Oilers watch parties all season long. Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440. Time for rumors, brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. We're going to start today with football. New York Football Giants making a change. Interesting story with the ball. I mean, he won Coach of the Year, but his record is ghastly, 20-40-1. So nobody should be terribly surprised, especially because they keep losing games where they have the lead late.
Yeah, he won Coach of the Year in 2022. I think they went 9-7-1 that year. And then you might remember this. He lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs. Do you remember the score of that game?
That was so sad.
38-7. So that was his only playoff appearance, and he got absolutely shellacked. Since then, it's been 3 losing seasons. It hasn't gone well. Listen, here's the most telling stat about this before we move on. I had the exact numbers earlier this morning because we talked about it on Elks 101. I want to pull them up here for accuracy's sake. But in the Broncos, Cowboys, and Bears game, the New York Football Giants had I really want to get the stat here because it's such an incredible stat. Against those 3 teams, they had it was like, I don't have it in front of me, but it was like, oh, wait, I got it now. That was brutal. My computer's old. I was scrolling. Okay. Against the Cowboys, Broncos, and Bears, the Giants had a 92.3, 99.3, and 96.9 win probability chance of winning in that game. They lost all 3 of those. The odds of that happening, approximately 1 in 60,000.
That's bad.
When that happens, you have to go. Yeah. You just have to go. And he has not been a good coach outside of that. Like 2-8 this year, 3-14 last year, 6-11 the year before that. Even the year he won Coach of the Year, it was 9-7-1 versus a cupcake schedule. And then
so he only won because he's in New York.
Well, he didn't really win at all. I mean, he didn't win, period,
Well, he won the Coach of the Year, though.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Listen, that was a good bounce back year. I forget what the Giants were the year before that. It was a good bounce back year. I'd give him that credit. It was probably deserved, but no, it was time.
This will make Josh happy. Bengals open Joe Burrow's practice window, so he should be ready for next season.
Yeah, next season. Absolutely. That's it. Like everyone's like, oh, he'll come back in December.
Why?
That's what my point is the AFC North, my apologies, isn't particularly strong right now.
No.
I think the Steelers and Bengals or Steelers and Ravens are tied right now, Deck, or are the Ravens still 1 game back?
Ravens are still a game back.
Yeah, regardless. But the Steelers, bad. It's wide open. But in 4 weeks when Joe Burrow could return, because it's a very limited practice, the Ravens and Steelers could be too far ahead for you to do anything because their only shot of making the playoffs is winning the AFC North, and their defense, Joe Burrow's not going to fix the defense. So just keep him out for the rest of the year. It's fine.
I have a question for both of you because I understand it and it'll stand and all of that, but this to me is like some crumb bumminess. When Micah Parsons was traded from Dallas, they didn't want to trade him to the Eagles, and so they didn't trade him there. But there was language in it that the Cowboys wanted. There was a poison pill provision that required Green Bay to surrender its 2028 first-round pick to Dallas if the Packers traded Parsons to another club in the NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
That's some dirty pool.
Well, you gotta protect your neck a little bit if you're the Cowboys. Like you're trading. Listen, the last thing you want to do if you're the Dallas Cowboys is trade him in division where you're gonna have to see him twice a year and where the games mean a little bit more. So the fact that they throw this clause into the trade, I totally get it. I totally understand it. It's pretty common. It makes a lot of sense.
I don't like it. It's as a bitter old man.
Well,
I understand what that bitter old man in Dallas did, and I don't like it.
Yeah, but you have to protect your neck.
He's the owner.
Yeah.
Honestly,
he still might listen. Micah Parsons might still end up on Philadelphia. I mean, he's not going to, but theoretically he could, and that would be good for you.
Well, I don't.
And all that would happen in that case is that Dallas would get another pick, and Green Bay would likely get worse in the trade.
Vet savvy move from old Jerry over there, putting that clause in.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Your team's so good they'd never have to put a clause in.
Yeah.
I'm a little bitter. That was mean-spirited of me. I'm very pleased with that. All right, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has been placed on IR. The Oilers have activated Matthias Janmark. They also put Kasperi Kapanen on long-term injured reserve. And in the game tonight, you will see Janmark and Lazar comes in as well for David Tomasic. Okay, so there's a lot of moving parts here. And ultimately, Zach Hyman, Gregor reported last week that Hyman is close and we would see him on the road trip. Is that correct? Have I got that right? I'm remembering what Gregor said. That seems about right.
You know when the best time to get the answer for that question is?
From Jason Gregor at 2 o'clock.
About 13 minutes from now when Jason's sitting across from you.
If I could only remember to ask him. But we will talk to Jason in a few minutes from right now. Goaltending isn't the whole problem. They still play fancy, super passive hockey, generally are a 2-goal-a-game offense. They don't have the puck enough. They are inefficient in their offense at 5-on-5. And they have too much talent to be this inefficient.
Do you want to hear Gregor's 5-on-5 stats that he has, the Oilers, on his Twitter?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the Oilers' 5-on-5 play is killing them. These are direct quotes. No player in top 125 scorers at 5-on-5. They're 27th in goals at 5-on-5. They're 30th in goals against 5-on-5. Their 5-on-5 shooting percentage is 28th, and their 5-on-5 save percentage is 31st. Entire team must be better 5-on-5, not just a few individuals.
And you start by not playing defense as much as you are. That's outlet passes that work.
Those are scathing numbers. They have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on their team, and neither of those two are top 125 in 5-on-5 scoring.
Because they don't take the puck through the neutral zone. They don't possess the puck in the offensive zone. Where do you score goals in the offensive zone? How do you do it with the puck on your stick?
Yeah. And this is a real problem because like they were at one point a really good neutral zone team in the Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl era, and this year they've just decided to throw it all to the wayside.
And because they're so obsessed with the defensive side of it, and the Oilers, Evan Bouchard is never going to be a great defender, but you can use his offensive prowess. Excuse me. You can use his offensive prowess by moving the puck, and then he doesn't defend as much. But if you don't have that, you have what we have here, which is, really too bad. This team should be way better.
Oh my goodness, they should be much, much better. And like you could listen. I know he's not a defensive defenseman, but you're still a defenseman.
Yeah, but he's never.
I know. Listen, I know.
If you're waiting for him to be a great defenseman, Paul Coffey was never a great defenseman.
I agree, and I don't need him to be great, but
above average. Slightly.
I don't even need him to be above average.
You need him to just
I
be
need more
average.
competency.
You need him to play less defense. That's what you need. And that's the puck in the other end.
That's a huge part of it. But here, I'll say this. When he's playing defense, I need it to be like, he's not a lockdown guy he's not that guy, but I need a little more structure and fluid. Like,
well,
with him.
I hate to tell you this, but you're going to be wildly disappointed. I watched him play, and
you would agree, though, right?
Oh, no,
okay, yeah,
you are. That's why Ekholm was so important, and why Ekholm eroding is so difficult, right? Because Ekholm was like his partner, and he was a predictable guy, and that's what you want. You want reliable. You know what this team needs? Wood guy came on my blog the other day. This team needs Charlie Huddy. Just Mr. Dependable, Mr. Reliable. They don't have that, but they did when Ekholm was right, and hopefully he'll get right again.
But Father Time is undefeated.
It is.
And I think that's just what this is. He was injured last year, came back earlier than he probably should have for the Stanley Cup Finals, and then he's looked exactly like the player that he was in the Stanley Cup Finals, maybe even slightly worse.
He was pretty bad. I don't think he looked worse. He was pretty bad in those 2 Cup Final games he played.
Well,
but it hasn't been great.
No. And I do question why they played him, and certainly why they played him in the big minutes. Because when you're hurt, man. Like that you can say, oh, well, we had our best players out there, but both Bouchard and Ekholm, based on reports, weren't 100%. So why are they out there? Did you guys see that Daryl Cates increased his fortune by $1.5 billion last year?
That's incredible.
No.
Congratulations to him.
I'm so glad my tax dollars bought that guy a new arena. Nice to see the little guy get ahead. Hey, it was negotiated, right? One of the things that is happening now, We just went through an election, and people have these things occur, and then they get an opportunity to vote out the guys they don't like. And it has been, I'm going to say 40 years since I've talked to anybody at the local level where they've gone, no, I'm completely happy with this group. I talked to somebody many years ago during the Cease Purvis time who was like, no, these guys really know what they're doing. If you are dissatisfied, then don't vote in the guys you're dissatisfied with. And that's at any level.
Sound reasoning.
Well, that whole thing was like, with the pressure that's brought to bear over something like that for local politicians is enormous. You stand up against that kind of overwhelming, the tax base that's going to be increased, the dollars that are involved. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know that there was a mayor in the last 45 years in this city that could have overcome that. And that's just a fact. They are who I think they are, not very good. They really can't be much better. Well, Mark, I don't agree with that. They didn't trade McDavid, and they didn't trade Draisaitl, and they didn't trade Evan Bouchard. They've added a couple of kids, and they offloaded Evander Kane and Corey Perry, and nobody was complaining about Jeff Skinner and Arvidsson going. But the entire system, the way the system they played now is treating every team like they were last spring's Florida Panthers. We can't make those small, little, astute, brilliant breakout passes because the Florida Panthers beat us last spring, even though they're not on the ice. And it makes no sense to me. And we'll see, because this defensive group is going to be under fire. But they're playing too much defense. Jake Wallman went into the game on Saturday night with like 11 goals for and 7 against. He was on fire. And now he's 11 goals for and 10 against. He went -3 in the game, all at 5-on-5. That's one game. This team can play good hockey, but they're on their heels too much, not on their toes. They got to be skating forward. And now they lost Nuge, and that is a big loss.
To your point, I would love for this team to defend less, because this team is at its most successful when they are the hammer, not the nail, and when they are flowing offensively with all the talent they have. But again, like I kind of go back to like you're being put in a lot of situations, and this Colorado one was the most pressing evidence of it, where you are forced to defend. And when those situations arise, it has to be better than what it's been.
Well,
and it's a lot goes into that.
And the problem is, and people think, well, this is in a vacuum, and it doesn't. What happened the last time I'll tell you what they did. Peter Chiarelli, in one day, a Saturday in 2018, December 29th, he traded for 2 defensemen, Brandon Manning, Alex Petrovic, and both good defensemen, don't get me wrong, but they were shut down defensive types, and they brought them here, and they were like, God, these guys don't move the puck enough. What do you want to be? Because last year everybody talked about it. We're not going to play defense because we're going to move the puck so quickly. They're not doing that now. They move the puck, but it's either an icing or a tip in that's coming back immediately. They're playing defense too much. And they're not like, God, they are just so boring offensively. How hard is it to get Connor McDavid the puck in the offensive zone at 5-on-5? That's all you have to do. Get him the puck. And a year ago, it started with a pass from Bouchard to McDavid. He'd scoot through the neutral zone. He might do a curl. He might shoot it around to Leon on the other side, or whoever, Hyman is on the other side. They don't do that now. It's a long stretch pass to the right winger who tips it in and chases, or they change. It is really pretty basic hockey. The kind of hockey you see from expansion teams, quite frankly.
Well said.
Well,
that might be the dig of all digs. They have 2 of the 4-5 best players in the world, and they're playing like an expansion hockey team.
Well, it's that, when you're an expansion team, you want to get the puck down the ice, and then you load up the blue line to defend.
Yep.
But I mean, good Lord, the Oilers aren't in the trap yet.
When you're an expansion team, you just play like so tight. You just want anything to work. You know what I mean? You're just like, please let this work out.
I remember watching the 74-75 Washington Capitals, and it was the most pitiful thing ever. They played the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Doug Moans and I believe Greg Jolly were the defensemen, and they were at the blue line, or at the center ice line, because the Leafs had just scored. Dave Keon was the center, I don't remember the center for Washington. Keon flipped the puck behind the center for the Washington Capitals and knew instantly he could get a breakaway because Moans and Jolly were too far apart on the blue line to reach Keon, who was fast as lightning. And he skated down the ice and scored a damn goal against Washington like 3 or 4 seconds after the previous one because they gapped too wide. That's an expansion team.
You know, the funny thing about this whole conversation, though, is last week you did call the Edmonton Oilers an expansion team because they weren't a team when you started watching hockey.
They were an expansion team. But it's not because they arrived in the NHL before I started watching hockey. All expansion teams, aside from the original 6, are expansion teams. And I mean, you could say the Montreal Maroons, but they're defunct, like the Oakland Seals and the Montreal Expos. Since so much of my life is defunct, I know a lot about it.
Have you watched Who Killed the Montreal Expos?
I can't. I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
Have you ever had one of those things where you like? Is there a movie that makes you cry?
Sure.
My dog Skip.
Okay. How often
Perks of being a wallflower.
How what's it is?
Perks of being a wallflower.
Okay. How many times do you watch that movie?
Once.
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
Yeah, because it's hard. Like you like I know I'm gonna cry and I don't want to cry. I've cried a lot and I don't want to. So I will watch it, but it has to be on a sunny day and I have to be alone. Me and the dog.
That's
because that's the way it's gonna be.
Ideal pairing.
Well, let's take a break.
Yeah.
I don't think we should.
Jason was just perusing around.
Oh, is he?
outside.
Is he loitering in the hallway?
he
I
was.
love it. All right, Gregor next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Wing Wednesday at First Round. Whether you're coming for the first round, the last round, or a few rounds in between, they've got you covered. With half-price wings every Wednesday night. Half-price wings. Over 35 delicious flavors like Cajun salt and pepper, maple bacon, and Inferno wings. Now half price every Wednesday night. Wash them down with a cold pint of Canadian or Coors Light for only $5.75. Half price Wing Wednesdays at First Round in West Ed and now downtown. First Round, burgers, beer, sports.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Sports 1440. It's your front row seat to the wild world of sports. Local legends, national headlines, and everything in between. Your game, your station. This is Sports 1440.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. Adopt a local family and see the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tanks. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Ugh, seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
Because they're attached.
Save up to 15% on select tires until December 13th.
Cool.
Plus, get up to $125 off a set of 4 Goodyear tires.
Anything else?
Get $50 off a $150 service when you buy those tires.
Well, that's handy.
Yep.
And weird.
Well, I love my Fountain Tire sidecar.
Book your appointment online today. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. We're at 122. Jason Krueger slides in to say hello. Looks like you're wearing a suit and a really nice shirt, Mr. Krueger. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Al. You?
Good. Where'd you get the poppy? I've had a heck of a time finding them this year.
I don't know, at the mall. I can't remember where exactly I got it, but yeah.
So Saturday night, that was a tough night for fans, and I'm sure the players, based on what we saw yesterday. And, you know, this is the kind of city where it will last from Saturday night to Monday. So it's an advantage for us as a radio station because we can come in on Monday and talk about it. But for the players themselves, I'm anticipating a hell of an effort by the Edmonton Oilers tonight.
Well, anything will look better than what you saw on Saturday, so that's obviously a good step up. Although I will say, I know a lot of people are like, oh, rock bottom. That's kind of a fallacy. You know, to claim that this is rock bottom and it can't get worse. Well, it obviously can. Like one single game losing by 8, okay, if that's your barometer. But the truth of the matter is, the Oilers could go on the road trip and go 2-5.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tough trip.
So you can't just snap your finger. You have to start working your way to get out of it, right? And I know it's funny because I spoke to a friend of mine who is a recovering alcoholic, and he goes, you know how many times people are like, oh, you hit your low, and he's like, no, people thought it was a low. I found a way to go lower, right? And this was from somebody who, because we were I ran into him on Sunday, and his view on life is a little bit different than I think some people. And he's just like, you know what? Can't get any worse. He goes, you know how many times I heard that in my life? Yeah. It can always get worse until you make the choice to stop it. So make more saves, defense, play better, forwards, have a pulse, including McDavid and Draisaitl at 5-on-5.
Yeah.
They got nobody in the top 120 scores. There's only 3 teams in the league who don't have a player with at least 7 points 5-on-5. The Oilers, Seattle, and St. Louis. No. And if you look at those 2 teams' offense, like I see a lot of people, they're mad at Trent Frederick. Oh, they're mad at Darnell Nurse. Oh, they're mad at Stuart Skinner. The Oilers, actually, their goals against until that 9-goal game wasn't even that bad.
No, it actually was one of the strengths.
Actually, but it's their offense is being they're just Matthias Ekholm has been on the ice for 18 goals against 5-on-5 this year. That's tied for the most against in the NHL. Right. But the people who want to criticize the Oilers, they're very selective. They can never say, well, geez, the top pair's got to play better. They can tell you about, I don't give 2 bleeps about expected goals.
You're not
expected
alone.
Goals means nothing.
No.
It's a formula that most people don't even know how it's calculated. But they will slam their hand on it till the death. Expected goals. All I know is that goals against cost you games. Expected goals don't cost you games. Goals cost you games. And the Oilers are giving up way too much early, and the Ekholm-Bouchard pairing's been woeful. Hey, Nurse got to play better. I don't doubt that for a second. I won't question for a moment. Now go look at their goals against and tell me which guys are on the ice for almost twice as many goals against.
No, it's true. I think Nurse is at 43 and Ekholm's like at 29, 27%. One thing that I continue to wonder about is the long stretch pass, tip in and chase. It's not an efficient way of doing it. And I do think that this team, with respect, is talented enough to have more than one line, pass the puck out and carry it through the neutral zone. McDavid and Draisaitl can do it. But I know that Adam Henrique is 35, but he's a talented NHL player. And I just think that this team, structurally speaking, might want to iron out a little bit of the long stretch passes and include a little bit of the passing through the neutral zone and getting into the offensive zone with possession.
Well, it definitely wouldn't hurt. The Oilers are still, according to their head coach, number 1 in controlled entries in the offensive zone. So, but I watch the Oilers play, and I see them bring the puck into the zone a lot, and then I see them on the perimeter a lot. I think the bigger issue for the Edmonton Oilers is they have virtually a non-existent net front presence offense right now. There's not a lot of second chances. There's not a lot of rebounds. And I remember Struddy's infamous rant about Martin Marincin when he was like, oh, he looked like he was blocking shots, but he didn't really want to block his shots. And it's like, I see the orders in front of the net. It's like, well, I'm going to screen the goalie, but I'll use my stick to screen the goalie and I'll stand to the side of the goalie. But I was kind of there, but I'm not really there. And I just think their commitment around the net in the offensive zone is not remotely good enough.
Well, the shots, the goals, everything at 5-on-5. If you look at, like you said it, like if you look at before the game against Colorado and just look at team goals against per 60, it's not bad. It was not bad. Now that game blew it out of the water, but and it'll take a month to get it corrected. But like structurally speaking, they were doing enough good things, and specifically Skinner was having a good enough year that you can kind of go, okay, well, you know what, maybe that's not something we have to worry about right now. The problem, I think, is that they don't possess the puck in the offensive zone under control enough, and they're playing too much defense, and they're not doing it well. And some of the players, like, you know, Evan Bouchard is never going to be Nick Lidstrom. He just isn't. But when he's playing defense less, then he can be more effective because he doesn't have to do the things that he's not great at as much. I don't know how they get back to that, but they really do need to. And your point about being a net front presence is a good one. And I wonder, I mean, with Nuge out, I wonder what the lines, the power play lines and the lines might look like tonight, not at the beginning of the game, but by the end of the game.
Well, Nugent Hopkins out, Knobloch's forced to keep McDavid and Draisaitl separate. He's got no option now. Yeah. So it's probably a good thing in a way. I didn't understand why he went to Colorado and started them on the same line. That's not what cost him the game. I just don't like it at this stage. To me, I keep Draisaitl with Roslovic and Podkolzin, and that line was playing really well. Why would I change it? Keep them together. I put Mangiapane and Savoy with McDavid. I put Henrique with Frederick and Howard, and then I'd have Janmark, Lazar, and Philp. Those would be my four lines. I don't even think that's really controversial. I think it's pretty simplistic. You know, Howard has played with Henrique and Frederick, and they've had stretches where they were okay. I look at, you know, McDavid can play with anybody and they'll figure it out. So, you know, Savoy's quick. I know they don't have a big body really, so that's not ideal, but it's 1 or 2 games until Hyman returns. So to me, that is what I would do up front. They're taking on a Columbus team who's actually pretty good 5-on-5. Their special teams are god awful. So you got to find a way to draw some penalties tonight if you're the Edmonton Oilers. And as far as the power play unit goes, you still got McDavid and Draisaitl on it. Like that, it's going to roll. I could see a case for either Savoy or Howard to go in Nugent Hopkins spot right now. If you go with Savoy, you got a right shot over there, gives you a different option. If you go with Howard, he's more of a shooter. He's not as much of a passer as Nuge. And that's why you might, you know, you could even, if you wanted to, put Roslovic in Nuge's spot because he's a really good passer. Like Nuge is a really good passer. Roslovic is a right shot. So he gives you that potential for a one-timer from that side. And then you could put, you can put Henrique in front of the net if you want on the power play for a game or two. So I'm not too concerned about the power play because honestly, the way the power play is rolling and how bad the penalty kill of Columbus has been, just get a few power plays and you should at least get 1 goal.
Do you, I've seen some quotes about Skinner saying, you know, it's not save percentage, it's wins or something along those lines.
Well, I know Gene put that out, but you probably have to listen. A really long answer. I'll play the whole thing. I think sometimes we can take portions of a clip because I asked him about the save percentage and, you know, he talked about it. He goes, hey, save percentage around the league now, like 900 is good. And he was right around there up until the last game.
Exactly.
And so, you know what? Skinner outlined, hey, areas of his game he has to get better at it. You know what? He goes, I got to make some saves on a breakaway. When we give up a breakaway, I got to make the odd save. He goes, I need to make a save in the shootout. And Dallas thought he was pretty honest about the areas of his game. But I know it's easy for everybody to want to blame one person. And I find anybody who wants to blame just the goalie just simply isn't paying attention. Like Calvin Pickard's numbers are atrocious, and I get it. But do you know what his expected save percentage is for all of those who love the number? Expected save. That means what a goalie save percentage should be based on the situation he's playing in. His expected save percentage is .860.
Yes.
So if he is an average goalie, it's .860. And people are going to be, oh, it's still the goalie. Like, grab a clue.
Yeah.
The
Also-
defense in front of them has been atrocious at times, and it's because when they have a giveaway, it is like, oh my God, it's Halloween, and everybody gets some candy.
It's the defense was evaluated to be one of the strengths of this team.
Yeah.
How do they get back to, like, I mean, at some point in time, we have to ask if Ekholm maybe can't take those minutes anymore, and maybe it's Wallman and Bouchard or something like that.
Well, Wallman's got to play better than the way he's played too, so that would be one. Well, like their top four defense, none of them have played up to their standards at all. Wallman's got to be way better. Nurse has to be way better. Ekholm's got to be way better. Bouchard. So, like, you look at some of Bouchard. I mean, Ekholm's goals against numbers have come off direct, blatant giveaways by Bouchard then in the back of the net, and it didn't matter who the defense partner was. There was nothing he could do at that point to save the goal. So that is a part of it. I will acknowledge that. I think it's funny. I went through it. The Oilers through 16 games this year are basically the exact same as they were last year and better than they were 2 years ago. For whatever reason, this is who the Oilers are at this stage of the season. It's not an excuse. It's just a fact because the numbers don't lie. And how did they turn it around beforehand? Well, they worked harder. And more importantly, I felt they worked smarter, Al. So will the light go on? Leon Draisaitl had an interesting thought. He said, sometimes you need a real smack hard in the face rather than just he used words a little pity pat or something that was quite funny that he's like basically little love taps of, oh, we lose one or win one, lose two, and then 2 weeks later you haven't fixed anything.
Yeah.
No one can hide in film room after that game. And so if you have pride as a team, and I fully believe that the core of this team has pride, otherwise they don't go to the Stanley Cup final twice, that game is the start of them if they choose to turn it around. But we'll see.
Yeah. It's funny because, there was somebody on the blog last night saying they got to fire the coach. And I'm like, you can't fire the coach. This is a coach who's taken the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And if I remember when Dallas Aikens was fired, and I remember when Jay Woodcroft was fired, and both times their shot metrics had turned around and were improving. But in the case of Knobloch, like I think that long before you would ever look at the coach, first of all, I think you'd have to do it next year as opposed to this year. But there are things that are repairable, and one of them is the structure of the team. But the other is that at some point in time, all the things that are going against them are going to start going their way. And you're never as bad as you were in that game. You are better. You've got to tighten up a little bit. And there does seem to be a malaise or an indifference around this team every year around this time, as you said. So maybe that was it, and maybe it isn't. But the road trip is going to be a bear, Jason.
Well, this week I actually, you start with Columbus and Philly back to back. Columbus isn't like, they're competitive. They work hard, right? But the Oilers have kind of beat up on them for fun for the most part, just because they don't have the top end skill of the Oilers. And they come into town today. Dean Evison was talking about how he doesn't even know what his lineup is because he's got so many guys sick today.
Yeah.
Right. Like they had 4 forwards not on the ice for the morning skate just because of health and illness. So, you might see their 13th and forwards tonight. So, as I mentioned, their 5-on-5 numbers are good, but their special teams are horrific. So that's a team you should beat. Like I know the Oilers aren't playing very well, but if we go player by player, talent wise, the Oilers are a better team. So show up, play to your skill, which McDavid has historically against Columbus with 34 points in 18 games. So, there are things that bode well for it. The later part of that trip, for sure, it gets a lot harder as they go. But once they get out there, there's not a lot of travel. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're going from Vancouver to Winnipeg and stuff like that. Like, you're pretty close in the cities that they go to.
Do you, who do you anticipate getting sent out when Hyman gets activated?
Well, now that Nugent Hopkins, so there's another 4 that goes out. Janmark comes in. How long are they going to keep 8 defensemen? I guess as long as they have to, right? Because I crunched all the numbers and they could keep all the guys on there. But, Tomasic, it becomes a cap situation. People are like, we'll send Lazard down. Well, you can't send Lazard down because he doesn't make enough.
Right.
Whereas Howard and Tomasic, they make more. So one of those two, just from a cap reason, has to be the one who goes down.
I always say that for like the amount of entertainment in a game, the CFL is really hard to beat. And we had 2 barn burners on the weekend in the Canadian Football League playoffs.
Yeah, well, the Saskatchewan BC game started pretty slow, right? 1-0 at some point, but that happens. It definitely picked up and came right down to the wire, man. It
was a great ending.
Like
great
right
ending.
down to the wire, and BC's probably gonna be like, God, we just need to hold them. And they were unable to do it. So give Saskatchewan credit. They got it done. Montreal, same thing. They go in on the road, and that should be a pretty good final. A lot of people had Saskatchewan and Montreal even at the start of the year. So kudos to them. And now, I love it that there's no extra time off, Al. It's Grey Cup week, and
you bet.
That's exciting. Let's get right to it. And so we'll talk about it a lot. I look forward to the Grey Cup all the time. And you know what? I like Montreal. It's funny how, like, remember when so many people in this city claimed that Jason Moss was a terrible coach and could never coach? Well, I think too often they'll make assessments of people and players that if you want to say, hey, Jason Moss needed to be a little bit calmer on the sidelines. Yes, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
And he was, and he is, and he's got a pretty good team now, and he's already won a championship and might win another one. So, you know what? I look forward to the game. I haven't even seen the early line on it. Saskatchewan probably slight favor, I would think, but I'm taking Montreal.
Okay, there you go. First of the week, I think, here at Sports 1440. All right, what's coming up on the show?
Woodley's going to be by. We're going to crunch some numbers on Philly and Columbus goalies because that's who the Oilers are going to see the next 3 games. Actually, playing Columbus twice. Also, we'll talk about Spencer Knight and just the unreal start he is having for the Chicago Blackhawks. Does that put him in the conversation for the Olympic team, for Team USA? Like, they got a lot of guys, right? You got Ottinger and you got Hellebuck and you've got all these guys, but you got to go with maybe the hot hand. And Spencer Knight's numbers right now are pretty darn good. So, and we'll dive in a little deeper on the Canadian ones that, I think the 3 guys, like Binnington's there because you're going to keep him for sure. Because, now he might not start all your games, Al, but I think he's going to be there. I don't think the other 2 spots are really that crazy of a conversation to say there's Logan Thompson and Darcy Kemper, but we'll see.
All right.
Do the numbers match that? I don't know. So we'll talk to Wood.
All right.
And of course, we'll bust down the orders. NFL weekend, Al.
Not bad.
Connor Halley's excited. His team keeps winning, and it's coming up a big week. Another firing in the NFL. So there's lots to talk.
And the big game of the week tonight with the Eagles. I mean, that's the most important game of the week.
Oh, well, yeah, because it's the last one.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
All right. Declinations next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. Adopt a local family and see the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
Just think, Kevin Karius has been covering Edmonton sports since before TikTok, Twitter, texting, and the Titanic. We may have made that last one up. Check out Karius in the mornings on Sports 1440. Your game, your station.
Weekly NFL giveaways, drink specials, huge screen TVs. The hits keep coming at First Round, Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Watch NFL football at First Round, and you could win a trip to your favorite NFL city for a regular season game next season. Catch NFL action Thursday nights, all day Sunday, starting with the Pro Bowl brunch from 10:30 to 2. Then Monday night with half-price boneless wings after 6 p.m. First Round, burgers, beer, sports. Downtown and Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sandy dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudley. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I've got to get 2 cheeseburgers, medium fries, and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. Hey, maybe I'll eat 1 cheeseburger right away and save one for later. Maybe I'll stack them and eat them both at once. Options. Oh, delicious, delicious options.
So 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a 2 cheeseburger meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com at 1:44. Time for Declinations, brought to you by Elks Nation. 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Krueger. It should be Declan Krueger and Eddie Steele, but that's the way we read it. Breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth Double E football coverage available on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcast. And now we present to you the man, Declan R. Krueger.
Whoa, that's not the middle initial.
What's the middle initial?
I have 2.
Oh, because, yeah, I know. There's got to be a saint in there somewhere.
No, well, one of them actually, yes, but named after my grandfather's.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Oh, it's really cool.
Super sweet, isn't it?
You know, it is. That's such a nice touch.
What if this whole time it had been like Declan, Lane Allen, Lowetide, Krueger? That'd be something.
Well, that would have been
and I just never brought it
ironic.
up. Funny enough, I had a friend, one of my best friends, still to this day, Patrick, met him in high school. We were friends for like months. And then one day I randomly saw his license, and his middle name's Declan.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, you didn't think once in like 6 months to mention to me, like, hey, your name's Declan. My middle name's Declan. Never came up.
That's wild.
Yeah. Funny little story.
No.
All right. I do want to, quick. I'll make this quick, just a quick little UFC 322 preview so we can finish with the oil. But it is a big fight card this weekend. We have 2 fighters who are going for double champ status. We have 2 fighters, Zhang Wei Li in the women's flyweight division. She is the strawweight champion, attempting to win a second belt in the flyweight weight class, taking on Valentina Shevchenko. And then in the main event, Islam Makhachev, who was the former lightweight champion, attempting to Zhang Wei Li, former strawweight champion as well, I should say. Islam Makhachev, former lightweight champion, attempting to win the belt in the welterweight division. So we're kind of in rarefied air here. Like, this is pretty unique stuff. 2 fighters going for belts in a second different weight class here at UFC 322 this upcoming weekend. The main event, Jack Della Maddalena, he was a guy who was a fill-in replacement to fight for the welterweight title. It was supposed to be Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Bilal Muhammad. Shavkat had to pull out with an injury. Jack Della Maddalena, who was 4th in the world, coming off a knockout win against Gilbert Burns, where he lost a good part of the fight, gets the call, and he goes in there and he just outboxes Bilal Muhammad. He outgrits him. He wins the welterweight title. He is the current champion, and this is his first defense. He is doing it against probably the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world in Islam Makhachev, maybe the number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, if you want to give Ilia Topuria that credit, who is naturally a huge lightweight. So Jack Della Maddalena, although he is the incumbent champion, he is going to be up against it. I think Jack Della Maddalena is probably a touch better on the ground than he gets credit for, but he did have his issues with Gilbert Burns. Islam Makhachev isn't he quite a guy that's going to hold you down the way Khabib did. Like, you are able to get up against Islam Makhachev, but Islam Makhachev has better striking than Khabib did. He hunts for submissions more than Khabib did. He has a much more well-rounded skill set. I think Jack Della Maddalena, and credit to him because I love his game. He has a boxing heavy style. He's very fun. He's very exciting to watch. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be in tough stylistically against Islam Makhachev, and also just skill set. Like, Islam Makhachev is probably the most skilled or second most skilled fighter in the UFC. I think it's going to play into it. I think the fight is going to play into his strength. I like Islam to win that one. And then Valentina Shevchenko, kind of taking a step back in the last little while at that flyweight division. Still the queen over there. Obviously still the champion. Zhang Wei Li. She was a big straw weight, but like Valentina Shevchenko could never make straw weight. Jack Della Maddalena could never make lightweight either. But I wonder how much size is going to play into this one, because like for Islam moving up to welterweight, you assume it's easy for him. For Zhang, I assume it's going to be a bit of a tougher climb. Like, it's still going to be doable. She was still a big straw weight, but I probably like Valentina Shevchenko in that fight. And then Sean Brady, Michael Morales is the feature bout. Winner of that is going to get the next welterweight title shot, I would imagine. Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates. Again, if Carlos Prates goes out there and really shows out, really impresses against a former champion, he could be short in line despite having that loss to Ian Gary not too long ago. Then opening up the card, two kind of fringe welterweight contenders. Beneil Dariush making one last chance to get back to the top, and Benoit Saint Denis. He's not young, but he's thought of as kind of a young new fighter, trying to stake his claim to get a chance and climb into the top 5 and look for a title shot at some point.
Love it.
And I'm looking forward to breaking it down next Monday, because there's going to be a lot to talk about.
So, do you want to talk about your Rough Riders at all?
Well, I tried to make that one kind of quick, because whatever you want to get to for the last couple minutes.
Well, let's talk about the Rough Riders.
Grey Cup bound.
So, like, I talked to Krueger about it, and he thought the Rough Rider game started slowly, not a lot of scoring, but I thought it was very exciting.
Yeah, listen, it was a gritty game. It was a tough game. It was, like I said, it was the hottest team in the CFL going up against the most consistent team in the CFL this year. So you wondered what you were going to get. And honestly, I think we got exactly what we expected. Like, both teams came to fight. Both teams were playing like the two best teams in the CFL with respect to Montreal winning their game. Like, this game felt like whoever won this game was going to win the Grey Cup. I don't want to disrespect Montreal, and obviously Montreal beat Saskatchewan 48-31 last time out, and that game still has to happen. But this was a tough, hard-fought game. It was I wanted to question some of Corey Mace's coaching decisions, but with kicking the field goal.
I thought that was a little strange.
Yeah,
right?
But you know what? It worked out for him, and he trusted the defense, and he trusted what his offense was going to be able to do going down the field at the end of the game there if they were to get the ball back. It worked out for him. All the credit in the world to them. I thought Tommy Neal caught it. It's awesome. I'm really excited about it. And the game is on my dad's birthday. So that's pretty cool. Have a chance to watch the Rough Rider game, the Grey Cup game, on his birthday.
I have to say that I felt all year long it was going to be the Rough Riders winning the Grey Cup.
They were the most consistent team this year.
And
for sure.
I haven't changed my mind. So I'm going to say Grey Cup goes to Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I predicted Saskatchewan 27-24. This Saskatchewan didn't have the highs of some of the teams this year. Like, Calgary had some really high highs early in the season when they were crushing Winnipeg and when they beat Saskatchewan twice.
They did. Yeah.
And BC had some highs late in the season when they finished as hot as they did. And Hamilton and Montreal in the East, they both took some turns having some really high highs as well. But throughout the season, the most consistent team was Saskatchewan. I think that was evidenced by this West final. I think it's going to be evidenced again in the Grey Cup, like I said, because I predict them to win. So yeah, bleed green, baby. We got one game left in the season.
Now, one thing about Saskatchewan fans is they travel well.
Yeah, it's in Winnipeg.
Yeah,
they have a chance
I know
to
that.
win. They have a chance to win it in Winnipeg. How awesome would that be?
I was going to bring that up. Is that would be like, if you're a Winnipegger? Is it a Winnipegger?
Winnipegonian.
Winnipegosis.
Winnipegite.
This is not what you want. You do not want Saskatchewan to win the football game, because Regina is going to move to Winnipeg for the week. You know that.
I was talking to my friends about what the split would be. One of my friends said 90-10. I feel like 80-20 is probably fair, or like 80-15 and 5 neutral fans. But to your credit, like, it's, if you're gonna have to travel anywhere for a Grey Cup, Winnipeg's probably the best place to do it if you're from Saskatchewan.
They used to have, I don't know if Dash Tour still exists, but they used to have buses run for Rough Rider games in Winnipeg and Jets games.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Oh, I'm sure there will be some buses heading out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it. I think Saskatchewan's just a better team, but
do you want to talk about your Buffalo Bills at all? That was a shame.
can I listen, the Buffalo Bills, you know how they started the game? 3 and out, fumble, 3 and out. No, 3 and out, turnover on downs, 3 and out, fumble, 3 and out.
Good.
You cannot build a hole like that against any team in the NFL. And Miami obviously capitalized on those opportunities and got points. This is what I was thinking about the Buffalo Bills, because I think we all agree the Buffalo Bills are going to be a playoff team. But it does not look like they're going to win that division right now.
Not right now, no.
If New England wins the division, and let's say best case scenario, you're a 5 seed. You now in that 5-4 matchup, are you playing New England on the road, who at best you're going to be 1-1 against on the season? Are you going to be going and playing the Baltimore Ravens, who right the ship and have one of the best quarterbacks in the world and would be playing incredibly hot ball for that to happen? Would you be playing Indianapolis, who has been one of the best teams in the NFL this year? Would you be playing the winner of the NFC West, who is either the best one of the best defenses in the NFL in Denver, one of the Chargers who are playing great ball, or the Kansas City Chiefs? The best case scenario you have if you don't end up winning the AFC East is that Pittsburgh somehow wins that NFC North still and you go on the road to Pittsburgh. That's your best path. But right now, it is not looking like they are going to win the AFC East, and it's looking like they're going to have to go on the road and play a really tough game. Yeah.
And how are the Chiefs looking?
Well, they're not in the playoffs right now, and they had a bye week this past week. I think we all expect the Chiefs to be a playoff team, but I got to tell you, man, do you have a reason not to pick Denver to win that division right now?
No. So then that dovetails to my next question, which is, are we looking at a new world order in the AFC?
I think it's probably more likely that this year is the one-off with a trend towards a new world order than the new world order starting right now.
So this is like trend, new world order rising.
Yeah, it is. And listen, this is the other thing. Like the Bills, just to talk about the new world order in them last game, like they didn't look good. Like nothing about them looked good. I outlined the first 5 possessions. They could do nothing defensively. It felt like they couldn't really even move the ball. Like
the memory I have mostly of Allen is on the bench looking dejected.
Listen, yeah, I don't even know what to say, man. Like I
thought you were going to punch me.
No, it doesn't look good right now. And literally a week ago, I said I think they're in the best position to make the Super Bowl out of the AFC. I don't even know if I'd have them top 6 right now.
But that tells you that they can get it back. They just have to do better.
Yeah, no one beats the Dolphins 8 times in a row. We had won 7 against them before that.
Okay,
no one wins 8 in a row in Miami.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lowdown. Jason Krueger on the way next. Please enjoy your day. Hey.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Loca Quality Market. Your fridge just got an upgrade. Over 200 chef-prepared gourmet meals waiting at Loca Quality Market. Shop local at loca.ca. Oilers at home tonight as the Blue Jackets come to town. Puck drop at 6:30 with pregame coverage starting at 5:30. 3 other games in the NHL sees the Islanders taking on the Devils. Predators face off with the Rangers, and the Panthers go head-to-head with the Golden Knights. Week 10 in the NFL wrapping up as the Packers host the Eagles. Kickoff at 6:15. And off the field, the New York Giants have fired head coach Brian Daboll. In the NBA, 9 games happening around the league, including the Trailblazers taking on the Magic. Lakers go head-to-head with LaMelo and the Hornets. The Cavs head to Miami. The Spurs square off with the Bulls, and the Bucks take the court against the Mavs. Coming up on Sports 1440, it's the Jason Krueger Show, and this has been your Sports 1440 update with Sam Wilness.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall.